Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. I hope you're doing right, because it's time for 48-hour analysis. Yes, just 2 days ago, all of these skins rotated into the Rust store, and we're going to go ahead and keep track of their sales so far, and get a good idea of whether these skins are still looking to be perfectly fine investments or not. Maybe something's appeared that might cause issues, maybe something's happened which might be interesting, might be helping out these skins. Understood? So sit back and relax, let's get started. So, what are we currently looking at? This is the first 24 hours of sales. I always tweet this out, so again, if you want to be aware of all the random stupid things going on with the Rust economy, please consider looking at the likes of my Twitter. Link is in the description of this video that you're watching right now, so feel free to go ahead and get a good look at that. So the reason why we do this is because we can do comparisons to previous weeks, and of course we mentioned that in the previous video, didn't we? The previous 48-hour analysis, and from what you can see here, last week had very low sales. This week is an improvement. Alright, so based on the amount of sales that we ended up with last week's batch of skins, you can see that we are expecting maybe some better final sales by the time we reach next Thursday. But if you were to compare to the likes of the skins that came out 2 weeks ago, well, that was much further ahead from what you can see after the first 24 hours of sales. So perhaps, with an educated guess, you could look at these and think, well, maybe they're going to be reasonable, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, the amount of sales that we're going to see for these skins is going to be still somewhat low. Like, that Neon Vibe Sheet Metal Door will probably end up with about 15,000 sales from what you can see here. But we're now going to go ahead and take a look at these skins based on 48 hours of sales. So let's just hop over to here, take a look. Now, guys, I'm recording this a fair bit later from 48 hours, so this is like after 48 hours, but the second I move away and go to something else, you notice that the sales have increased by a fair bit. So just to give you a heads up on that. But yes, this is 48 hours in, 2 days in, and well, Neon Vibe Sheet Metal Door is currently sitting here with just over 9,200 subscribers, also referring to as like bare minimum sales. So at least 9,273 people have bought this skin. How many did they buy? We don't know, but we know 100% that that was the amount of people that bought it so far. So keep that into consideration, because if you were to look at the previous 48-hour analysis videos, you can make some comparisons to the amount of sales we have for the previous weeks. So last week, we didn't see that much sales with this batch of skins, and these only ended up with about 11,000 sales at most. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But that's the current state of things in November. But if you go a week back from here, you can see with these skins, well, some of them did go above 15,000 bare minimum sales, but it did drop off pretty quickly, right? So we have talked about this, especially recently in the likes of my predictions video. So if I go back over to here, when I was looking at the skins, I was like, guys, things might work out by default, simply because the new skins are very likely not going to be selling that much. So as of now, I just want to confirm things still look like that's going to be taking place. We're not going to see that many sales with the likes of all of these skins, and now you'll notice more sales have happened. There you go. So yeah, like I said, I'm recording this a good few hours later from 48 hours, but from what we can see here, it hasn't really changed that much. So let's start talking about all of these skins. Let's start talking if everything's still lining up for everything to work out potentially all right. So we have the Neon Vibe Sheet Metal Door right here, and I have mentioned this already, that there is already another deplorable that was submitted last week, that being the Neon Vibes Furnace. And that by itself looks to be a very nice looking furnace, mainly due to the fact that it has a nice colourful inside. We've mentioned this recently with the likes of the recent Halloween Cocoon Furnace, if you can remember that, Spider Cocoon. Because it had a different coloured interior, most furnaces by default, all the furnace skins, they either have like a red, orange or yellow interior. If you have something that's a different colour from those colours, they randomly tend to do a lot better in the future. They tend to go up in price quite nicely. And this right here, well, that's just a nice straightforward neon design, very colourful, very in your face, and I'm pretty sure that would be a very nice welcome addition. But that has to be accepted for us to really see a nice spike in demand for the likes of this. So this Sheet Metal Door is accepted, and we saw the previous Neon Vibe skin have a nice bit of a spike in demand. Now, initially, this did not have that many sales. This did not have that many listings is what I meant to say, but even then it didn't sell that much. So looking at this properly, this now has 34 on the market, $4.62. That has risen up quite nicely ever since we saw the Sheet Metal Door. So you just see that Sheet Metal Door gets accepted. So on the horizon, we potentially might see even more being accepted. If that furnace gets accepted, we've got a very nice looking deplorable collection potentially being built up. I've said this many times, haven't I? But you understand the whole process. Things are looking optimistic. Diaz has been getting a lot of acceptances later this year, so I feel confident he very likely will get the furnace getting accepted as well. Fingers crossed. At the end of the day, that right there is a nice straightforward design, a straightforward neon design. And we also mentioned this in the predictions video. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to instantly work out. If you go take a look at all the sheet metal doors that have come out in the past, so we go from here, but if we look by highest price, you'll notice that there's many neon straightforward designs that didn't hold up quite nicely. So immediately, what do we see here? Evil Heart door, very, very, very straightforward. That's doing okay. That's doing all right. I scroll up a little bit more. Going deep sheet metal door, down by 17%. That's not very good. I scroll down here. Airlock door, that's down by 11%. I scroll down here. Neon carrot door, down by 24%. Neon cactus metal door, down by 36%. Oh dear. So, unfortunately, right guys, sorry about that, I fumbled a bit, so let me just continue from what I was talking about. In regards to sheet metal doors, the neon straightforward design doesn't seem to work out that much. Basically, whilst it might work out for garage doors, we have far too many problems in regards to sheet metal doors, aka there's far too many of them that exist. And if you look at all the sheet metal doors that came out this year, you can see that they're just not reliable investments. So the smartest thing to do with the approach is, well, this is abnormal. We'll wait until Wednesday. We'll look at it again. I get the feeling it will end up with about 15,000 sales, which, would line up very nicely with the likes of the garage door. The only interesting thing that I can see to giving this a boost would be if we do see the furnace being accepted. And I should also point out, keep an eye on the workshop, because you never know, Diaz might put out another interesting Neon Vibes deplorable skin. So, yeah, if we see more being accepted, all the better, but we've been in this position many times with many other potential deplorable collections. I know, I'm self-aware about that, but yeah, honestly, you understand the routine. More deplorables, all the better for a deplorable skin that came out before it, aka, a collection's being built up. So, yeah, I get the feeling we're probably just going to end up sticking with a buy order. But like I said, when it's Wednesday, when we do the abnormal buy orders, and this, of course, is abnormal, we'll decide then. We'll figure out what we're going to do when we have to figure out what prices we want to offer. So, understood? All good? So, safe option is, let's just wait it out a little bit longer and see what happens. Cool? Right, let's hop over and start talking about the Damascus Tier 3. So I stand by my word, by default, if we do see more Damascus skins being produced over the course of this weekend, all the better for it, but then we have to kind of wait and see, are we actually going to see continuations being accepted? Now, let me remind you, over the course of the past month since Halloween, all wrapped up, we had a lot of Tier 2 armor, we had some fairly decent looking hoodie and pants being produced and whatnot for continuations of collections. They weren't accepted. And yet now we have a brand new collection right here in front of us. So I have to be a little bit realistic. You can't just instantly assume this is definitely going to get a continuation. You could be wishful, you could be hopeful, but you've got to be a bit realistic. So whilst this has done okay in terms of sales, in the grand scheme of things, that's still very low. I'm expecting this potentially to reach about 12 to 14,000 sales. And if you were to look at all the face masks that came out this year and make a comparison, so if this is expected to do about 12 to 14,000, it is fairly low compared to many of these skins that came out this year, isn't it? I'll be honest with you, the only thing that's going to really help this out is if we do see continuations actually being accepted and whatnot. Now that's $2.49. That's $2. I think I am probably just stick with doing a buy order, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see an immediate reaction in regards to the skin creators. I wouldn't be surprised if they do immediately produce some continuations. Now, has anyone asked? That's the main question. Has anybody asked, hey, what are you doing next? So no, and no one's done that. So if you don't ask, you'll never know. So in regards to that, yeah, I'm probably just going to stick with doing a buy order, but of course, keep an eye on the workshop. We shall see what's coming out, and we will react to that, won't we? So that'll be all for discussion on Wednesday night. Feel free to consider watching my streams on Wednesday. Like I said, that's when we do the abnormals. So feel free to hop in, sit back, relax as I explain everything in regards to what I'm thinking about in terms of approaching these skins. But with the likes of Damascus Tier 3 at the moment, I don't know, really. I just can't. I can't imagine a brand new collection and instantly getting new acceptances straight away at this current time. Because you also do need to be aware that we only have 2 Rust stores until Christmas. We have November 30 and we have December 7. And then after that, December 14, that's when Christmas begins. I just can't imagine instant success, if you can understand that. I know it's awkward. I understand. I get that. But yeah, cool. So best thing to do is wait it out. This is abnormal. This is abnormal. Sorry if it's not like a straightforward answer, but I'm sure you can understand. I'm sort of conflicted, but I'm kind of leaning more. I worry for it. So if I'm not super confident in something, I'm not going to jump in anytime soon. You understand? You get the idea. Cool. Understood. Eater SAR. Now, judging by the amount of sales that this currently has, again, I also think this is going to end up between 12 to 14,000 sales, which isn't really a lot. But will this retain its value? I doubt it. I don't think it's going to be doing a decent job to retain its value. But I can see it easily rebounding and going back up in price literally in about 6 weeks' time. So again, for a small period of time, will it suffer? Probably, yeah. Will it go back up again? I wouldn't be surprised at all. Abyss is really flourishing. I'm pretty sure throughout all of the likes of 2024, we're just going to keep seeing more and more Abyss weapon skins and tools and whatnot being produced. I wouldn't be surprised if they get accepted. I wouldn't be surprised if this collection grows even further. How far will it go? I don't really know, but it's been very successful. And as you can see, it seems to be very in demand as well. Yes, tier 3 is a fair bit awkward, but that's because it's sold a lot in comparison to all of the other clothing and armor. This right here, it's the beginning of a nice series of potential weapons and tools. I'm optimistic, and because we've got a very nice already established collection, I wouldn't be surprised if during like January time, people are going to be using this and using with that. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. So, again, judging by the fact that it's an AK-47, oh no, here we go. How bad is it now? It's always down bad. No, it's all red. Oh god, no. Well, there you go. I'm being a bit overly dramatic. Yeah, we knew this was going to mostly be all in red. But point is, how likely is there going to be another AK being accepted next week? You know there's going to be another one. Anyway, I am probably just going to stick with doing a barter on that one. I feel like that's the best option. AKs are incredibly unreliable, worse off compared to the likes of sheet metal doors. So, yeah, you understand that. We've been through this process like how many times this year? Because how many AKs got accepted this year? Need I say more? Understood? So, yes, part of a well-established collection. It won't go rock bottom, but it will go lower than $3. That is to be expected. So we'll talk more about that this Wednesday. I want to see how many sales this ends up at, but this is still going to be better off compared to most AKs that came out this year. It just won't exactly be a stupidly high profit. Understood? Right, let's move on. Desert Beast Burlap shirt and pants. Right, so at the current rate that we're looking at this looks like it's probably going to just kind of sit at around maybe 11 to 13,000 sales. That is incredibly low. All right, now just to kind of reinforce this point, if I go back over to here, this is a bit goofy to make this comparison, but let's just roll with it. See this, right? So both of these, they had just over 5,400 subscribers, bare minimum sales. I go over to here, I just deleted it. Cool, well done, Hedge. You're great. You're smart. There you are. Perfect. Right. Do you remember the Abyss sleeping bag? Right. So that had a lot of interest when I first talked about it and whatnot. That had 5,300 subscribers, bare minimum sales. So I hop back over to here. How much did that end up with? So let's just go remind ourselves. That only ended up with about just over 11,000 subscribers, aka just over 11,000 bare minimum sales. That is incredibly low for these. And again, if you watched the likes of my predictions video where I really talked heavily in regards to these skins because I was confident in them, and based in the sales that we're probably going to end up with, I'm even more confident in them. I can't help but think these are just going to be perfectly fine in terms of they'll just gradually get appreciated, price will just gradually go up. Now, I do have to point out some things that are expected to happen over the course of the next few months. Yes, we're about to have post-Christmas. Yes, prices are about to go insane. But then once we hit March time, there's going to be a CS2 major, Copenhagen 2024. So I'm sure you understand the routines now, where when there's like a big event or when there's like a massive chunk of new content being added to CS2 or Counter-Strike, lots of people like to cash out from the likes of here and then go put it towards Counter-Strike. That's not too hard to understand, I'm sure. So typically, when something like that happens, aka when there's a big major tournament, Rust skins do tend to go down. And by default, after post-Christmas, most Rust skins would go down regardless. So it usually happens during March, April, May. Well, the CS major in the future is only going to exacerbate that. So we're going to have a pretty nice post-Christmas, but then after February, down. Keep that in mind, okay? So if you're looking at the likes of this and this, do be aware that they will be suffering as well. And I can confirm that based on what happened to the likes of the Arctic collection. Yes, I need to remind you of what happened to these, because it wasn't like an instant success with these. Let's make a very good comparison here. So right now, this shirt, for example, $58 in the market, which is quite low. $2.60. Next to no resistance. That's going to have a very fun time in just a few weeks' time. But scroll down and let's look at its sales history. What do you see? Do you see how it went? Now, just to confirm, when this first came out, it was all right, but it didn't do amazingly immediately. But then, of course, when we saw that continuation appear, spike in demand, spike in price, very nice. But as the end of January, things started to calm down, slow down. Post-Christmas came and went, and then it went down, down, down. Rock bottom, springtime. But then, it started to get appreciated, did quite all right. And then gradually, during the summer, it started to rise up in demand and rise in price. So, what you see here is the expectation of how Desert Beast is going to play out, all right? I don't expect it to be instantly a massive success. But if you've got quite a lot of money at the moment and you're looking to just put some money away and in hopes of, at some point I can cash out, with what we saw here, I feel like is going to basically happen on the likes of the Desert Beast as well. And of course, we do need to be aware of what's potentially coming out. We do need to keep an eye out on the on the workshop, sorry about that, to keep an eye out for what's happening next with Desert Beast. Now, did anybody ask? Did anybody go to the workshop pages and say, hey, this is nice, are you making more? So we go to the comments and no one else has jumped in. Pingu here asked, and at least one person asked, so at least we got the message across. So you got to be patient. You got to see what happens. Now, that skin right there, or both of those skins right there, they're not no more, right? So it's not like you can really do much anyway. We can't use the time to our advantage, the abnormal time to our advantage. But I think I will be waiting until Wednesday. I'm going to look at the sales and then I'm going to make a decision. Now, I do have an account that has quite a lot of money at the moment, and also can't do buy orders, so perfect situation. And regardless, with post-Christmas just around the corner, I'm going to sell so much that I'm going to fill up 8 different accounts regardless. So I'm not worried to spend money. But in theory, it couldn't hurt that I could spend some money now, because I am going to have to put some money away into certain assets that at least in the future at some point, I will feel confident I'll be able to sell them again and get my money back if I could. That's not hard to understand. And that's something you are going to be struggling with during post-Christmas. You might fill up your account and you're going to have to spend money just so you can continue selling Ruskins. It's fun. You might go buy some games and whatnot. Fair enough. But even then, you might still have far too much to sell. This is why you should have multiple accounts. The choice in regards to that is up to you. But anyway, I might buy these simply because over the course of another year, I reckon they're going to be comfortably in the positive, and I'm happy with that. I can be fine with a long-term investment. Will we see more Burlap stuff being accepted anytime soon? I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but I can't imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of it. He says this now, and then potentially over the course of the next few months we see 4 different Burlap skins being accepted. Imagine that, oh god. But yeah, again, just take a look at all of this. You'd notice that we haven't been seeing a lot of it over the past 2 years, because we got literally 0 in 2022 and we only got 2 this year. All right, and I could also point this out once more. If you were to go over to here and click Burlap shirt as an example, by default you'll see most popular, but if you go by most recent and just look through all decent Burlap skins that are produced, You got Bush Camo there. You get Leopardo Burlap. That's not quality, so I'm just going to move on. Yep, we had some recent Halloween skins. That wasn't accepted. We had the Luxury Burlap. That wasn't accepted. Burlap, Blackout Burlap version 2. You had the likes of Banana Leaf version 2, you had Military version 2, you had Banana Leaf Burlap there again. Doppelganger, I remember this. I remember mentioning them in the likes of my Rust Workshop skin checks. But as we slowly go through all these, there you go, there's the original Burlap. Comics is there as well. You will see that there were some actual genuine decent skins produced for Burlap clothing. Here's the frog one. But yeah, none of them are accepted until now. Again, there's still some decent ones that were produced. You can sit there and say, these aren't that good. I understand. I get it. But like, this is decent. This is Forest Raiders. That wasn't accepted. Desert Raiders. I know. That was all this year. So all the collections I just mentioned and pointed out to you. Oh, here you go. Paisley. That would have been awesome about now. Like, that would have been perfectly great for like the recent Wild West theme stuff that we've been seeing recently. But yeah, wasn't accepted. So, genuinely decent pieces of Burlap clothing skins were produced. Face Punch just didn't accept them. So, keep that in mind. Do you reckon that's going to happen again and again and again? Very likely. So, yeah, if you have heard all of that and you got it in your head now, you could probably understand why this is looking to be a perfectly fine investment. But just don't expect tons of profit like that, all right? If we do see continuations appearing like, you know, maybe we'll get some high clothing, maybe we'll get I don't know, some Burlap boots, shoes, and like a boonie hat or something. Yeah, no, of course we will have the spike in demand, spike in price. We saw that with the Arctic stuff, didn't we? But yeah, just understand it's going to be something that slowly gets appreciated and slowly rises up in price, and you're probably not going to see any insane like profits until another year or so. Do keep in mind with what we just saw, the Arctic Burlap shirt. Only now has it got to a point where it's almost tripled in price, all right? And during January of this year, or next year, you know, in about 6 weeks' time, that's probably going to reach up to $4, and I wouldn't be surprised because there's very low quantity on the Steam market. So, yeah, do you get it? Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm going with? Maybe this doesn't go up to around the same price until the summer of 2024 from what we saw with the Arctic set. So, yeah, I feel like I've said enough. It does look like something that could be perfectly fine to buy. And you know what? We could wait until Wednesday. Feel free to hop in and say hello during my stream and ask Hedge, is the Desert Burlap still looking good? And I'll probably sit there and say yeah. And with the projected expectation for sales, yeah, it does look good. How many you buy is up to you, but I wouldn't buy thousands, for example. But yeah, if you want to put some money away and cash out later next year, I think it'll turn out all right. I think it'll be good. And again, I do expect continuations. I've said more than enough now. I feel like I've got to move on. Very sorry if you want me to do so. So, Hay Collection. You know I'm going to say it, but yeah. Do you reckon we'll see some more Hay skins? I remember when I first saw this, I suggested the idea that we have like hay rugs, because then people could roleplay with having barns and whatnot. You can see that. I'm sure you can figure it out. But like, yeah, because I feel like that could work out. And someone also suggested this. I can't remember your name. Sorry, but you feel free to comment below in the video. But like, someone suggested, wouldn't this be very good as like a desert sleeping bag? And I can see that actually could work out very nicely in terms of that. Like the colours of the brown and yeah, that could work. That's actually a very, very good idea right there. So if you're someone who's watching this, also consider that. That might actually work out very nicely in-game. So, I mean, that quite literally is the desert there. Yes, it does look like it could be a very good sleeping bag. Well, there you go. Wow. There you are. That is a good idea. But again, by default, what do we expect next? Sorry. I could imagine that CD and Michael will be making more. I do stick with the idea that maybe a rug would be pretty cool. Like a nice wooden base, especially a Frontier building skin. Yeah, that's coming out next month. That is going to be coming out. You've just put some hay all over it. You got yourself like a nice barn for role players. You can visualize that. You can understand it. You can see that, I'm sure. So yeah, I could see some things working out very nicely for this. But, like, sleeping bags haven't been appreciated this year. So take one quick look at this. And how many of them are actually doing good at the moment? Abyss sleeping bags doing all right? Not surprised by that. And that's the only one. That's the only one. Awkward. But this hasn't sold that much either. And it's probably going to end up at about 10,000 sales. Now, that's still quite a fair bit, especially when you make some comparisons to the other sleeping bags that came out this year. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's going to work out perfectly fine? Do you reckon that will be utilised as a nice desert camouflage sleeping bag? I feel like I'm going to leave it for now. It's not abnormal, so I can't use abnormal time to my advantage, but I could still see it probably working out quite right. Maybe just a good smart buy order. Maybe that's the answer, but let's leave it till Wednesday, look at it again, then make a decision. I would like to talk to my chat and say, what do you reckon? And, well, I'll get many other different opinions than this, so I can kind of get a good understanding. But yeah, sales for what we see here, it might actually do quite all right in the future. So, again, will we see a continuation? Will it actually be utilised in the deserts and whatnot? So, cool stuff there, but let's move on. Thanksgiving turkey furnace. Now, initially, I wasn't that invested into the likes of this, because by default, yeah, it's a Thanksgiving turkey. But I'll be honest with you, it honestly is just a turkey. It doesn't say, like, Happy Thanksgiving all over it or anything, does it? It's just a big fat roast turkey. And that's silly, and that's goofy, and I actually think it actually might work out all right in the future. I did say this when I first initially saw it with my Rustle rotation video. I was hesitant, but it's not exactly like super in your face holiday themed, is it? It's not like a Halloween skin, for example, or a snow. What was it? Christmas? How did I forget about Christmas themed skin? What's that snowy theme thing that we do? It's Christmas, you fool. Oh, I'm getting old. Sorry, I'm very sorry. But anyway, this has only got 4,000 bare minimum sales, and goofy furnaces do kind of do all right in the future. Is that pineapple furnace still doing quite all right? Let's go take a look at that. I don't think it is. He's down by 33%, so I think the answer is no. Look, that might be a buy order, but the sales, this probably is going to end up with hardly anything. Let's wait until Wednesday. Let's see how many sales it has by then, because I'll be honest with you, I might do a few sneaky purchases, because number one, it actually does look quite funny as a skin. So I think, I'm going to wait till Wednesday. I want to see what the sales end up at, and I want to make a decision then. But do you agree? What do you think? Feel free to comment. There you go. Do you reckon people will appreciate it for the sheer silly design of it? Like, it's a turkey. Oh, damn. Imagine if you could, like, texture stuffing inside it. Oh, well. All right, so, cool, fair enough, let's move on. Here we have the likes of the Eater SAR, and, well, it's not selling that much. But I'll be honest with you, I kind of do feel like this is probably just going to end up being a 70 cent to 90 cent buy order. Armageddon came out somewhat recently. It did dip very close to $1. It has kind of climbed up a little bit from then. But yeah, we've had quite a lot of SARs this year, and quite a lot of them are now sitting here at around $1 and below. But of course, post-Christmas, just around the corner, things could just instantly work out all right for it. It might, at best, probably just retain its value. But if it doesn't sell that much more from what it currently is sitting at, this is going to be one of those skins that's going to probably be potentially manipulated in the future. And again, I can't sit here and say, you should invest purely behind that. No. You have to be cautious. You have to be wary, all right? Like, just because it appears like it could be doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen anytime soon, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's definitely going to happen, okay? So I just want to get that nice and established and understood. Don't purely invest into something, fingers crossed, hoping purely based on the fact that it's going to get manipulated at some point. We've made some assumptions before. Things didn't turn out the way that we were expecting. We've learned from that, so purely based on what you see, maybe you just want to do a slightly higher buy order. Maybe you pick up a few of these at a slightly higher price than compared to the other people, and you'll see what happens. But remember, manipulations happen basically all the time, all right? And, well, you know, that might get manipulated at some point 2 years later. Do you want to hold on to some skins for 2 years? You probably don't. I do it all the time. But yeah, from what I can see it, purely based on the skin and from what I can see in terms of demand, that is a 70 cent to 90 cent buy order. I do worry for the skin itself if I were to try and make a profit out of it. But at 70 cents to 90 cents, you can't really go wrong. So, yeah, that's my answer in regards to that. Sorry, but we're looking at this with a financial perspective. If you happen to like any of the skins that you see here, by all means, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creators. But we're here to try and figure out, will things turn out perfectly fine at some point in the future where I can sell these skins for a very nice profit? Do I want to go buy 100 or 50 or 20 of them? Yeah, you get the idea. So these don't look like they're going to be doing ridiculous amount of sales. So I get the feeling that all of these might do quite alright instantly around January time. That's a nice potential positive. You know, you could just sit there and like assume that, but I can't like easily say like anything. Now, like I said, we only have 2 normal non-holiday themed Rust stores until we have Christmas. All right, so let me repeat that once more: November 30 and December 7. Okay, so whilst you might be looking around, not you. Whilst we might be keeping an eye on the workshop and whatnot, you can't 100% be sure that we are definitely 100% going to be seeing some I can't speak properly. We can't be 100% sure we're going to be seeing any new continuations appearing anytime soon. Just be a bit aware of the situation. And also, we're going to start seeing Christmas-themed workshop submissions, I believe, as of next week. So maybe if you don't see a continuation this weekend, then maybe you should kind of like accept that maybe I don't want to invest into that now. That actually would be a smart thing. I completely forgot to mention that, but I did now, so there you go. So yeah, we're going to be seeing Christmas-themed skin submissions soon. There's going to be like a competition for that, I'm sure. Like, you know, we just went through Halloween, didn't we? You saw how all of that turned out. We had that massive collection TDG produced. So, yeah, we're probably going to see something very similar to that soon, and that will probably be getting started next week. Yes. So, if you don't see any interesting continuations appearing over the course of this weekend, then you're likely not going to be seeing anything for another 3 or 4 weeks. Sorry, but, you know, you get the idea. So, yeah, sorry to kind of mumble that out, but yeah, keep this all in mind, all right? So, it is a bit awkward, yes. Did I make it even more awkward by struggling to say it properly? Yes. But, yeah, cool, understood. So, let's just see how things play out. Now, I just want to clarify something. I put out a video earlier today. That is the Rust Twitch Rivals Drops. Now, as I said, I was under the assumption that all the skins that you see here, this is TGG's list, let me verify, so do make sure you say thank you to him and watch his video when he produces it and whatnot, but one of the skins wasn't actually a Twitch drop, and it's been confirmed it wasn't, alright? So, like I said, all the skins that you see here, you cannot guarantee are 100% definitely going to be Twitch drops next month. So, yeah, just wanted to clarify that, just wanted to point that out, okay? So, a fair bit awkward, I know, I understand. But, like, yeah, keep an eye on all of these. I'm pretty sure all the hoodies are certain. And based on the quality of the skins that have been put here, I wouldn't be surprised if they're definitely going to be drops. And yes, you should go ahead and watch that video, 100%, because with the likes of the Fridge from Hell, with the likes of the Kayak Helmet, the Eater SAR, and the recent see-through mesh garage doors, we're having problems, potentially. Things aren't looking very good. So basically, the Twitch drops are going to be skins that are basically the exact same thing, if not better, and they're going to be given away for free. And some of you might have invested into those skins recently in hopes of making some very nice profits around January time, post-Christmas time. Well, you might need to consider selling them because, well, all of these interesting things are about to come out very soon and for free, all right? So consider watching this video, get yourself nice and prepared, and, you know, make the right decision in regards to whether you should keep them or sell them, or like you might enjoy keeping them, you might enjoy using them. So fair enough, understood. But like, yeah, keep that in mind. I just wanted to warn all of you. That's what my main intention was. Cool. So I believe we've basically explained everything. I told you to keep an eye on the workshop. Do I need to say that anymore? I don't think so. And well, basically, next week, The demand for Christmas skins should be shooting up quite nicely, and yeah, you can start selling at the very beginning of December. I don't blame you, but keep an eye out for the middle of December. Do be aware that Twitch Rivals event very likely will be causing a nice massive boost in not only player interest, but it will probably motivate people to want to jump back in and, of course, like play the game again. That is the expectation. Remember, look at the jump between the player counts of what we saw for November last year. Or is it? Sorry, I zoomed it. Yeah, November last year and then December last year. Quite the pickup. And a nice massive chunk increase of players equals a nice massive surge in demand for Ruskins. So keep an eye out for everything. Things are playing out ever so nicely. Fortnite season's just wrapped up, so kids need to play something else. Well, you know, I'm not wrong, but you get the idea. So everything's kind of lining up to being ever so nice over the course of the next few weeks. Brace yourselves, people. Profits will be coming, and we can all be happy. Just remember, don't unload all of your stock at once. Ride the wave of momentum. Don't build up big fat walls to block it. Otherwise, you'll just ruin your own potential profits. Sounds good? So don't be lazy. Be smart. Enjoy the success. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed this whole entire year of me screaming and shouting over pixels and whatnot. But yeah, here we go. Let's see what happens now. Thank you very much. Catch you later. See you. Goodbye.